Hello, seekers. In this session, we will go over the Platonic view on the six forms of the state. To every positive form of the state, there is a negative form, as seen on the chalkboard. Plato states that both the state and the individual bear the same relation. Each individual is a reflection of their particular state. To Plato, there are five forms of the state, just as there are five forms of the soul. One form of the state is governed by justice, while the other four are identified with the four forms of vice. Plato's five forms of the state are what he calls theocracy, we can represent as kingship, aristocracy, oligarchy, democracy, and tyranny. Aristotle's system is identical to Plato's. He states there are three main forms of the state and three perversions of it. Every form of government, not the perverted form, is ruled by a specific constitution that has as its central aim the common good for all its people. Cicero, on the other hand, doesn't follow any pattern in which governments come and go, but can appear at random. He classifies governments in the same way as Aristotle does. In the Republic, Plato famously said, "There will be no end to the troubles of the state until philosophers become kings or kings become philosophers." Ancient Greek philosophers of the time didn't recognize the gods of their states because of how they were represented and the way the people who worshipped them acted. See Plato's Apology. Let's now examine these six different forms of the state. These six different forms of the state serve as a macrocosm for the microcosm, which is the man that lives within that particular state. These attributes are each associated with the man. So in kingship, it's geared towards men that revere greater honor, and the men typically have more virtue. It is a government of the best, the most virtuous, or the pious, which is why in Plato's version he called it a theocracy. The perversion of a kingship is a tyranny. Tyranny comes about because of the insatiable desire of freedom, which creates a demand for tyranny. Its citizens are enslaved by their desires. The people always have a champion whom they set over them and nurse into greatness. They are ruled. It is ruled by the protector of the people. He always appears as a protector, the tyrant. But this state never lasts long, as this state is too extreme in its authoritativeness. The second form is aristocracy. It is ruled by military leaders. The men within that state are particularly lovers of honor. They reject philosophy. They are covetous of money, gold, silver, and material items. They are uncultured but fond of culture. They love power. Within this state, they are made of mixed elements. The people, there's a variety of type. In this state, they are constantly in a state of constant war. The extreme form of an aristocracy comes about as this aristocracy, which is lovers of honor. A good example of lovers of honor would be in a religious system, as the more pious things you do to put yourself up would make you seem higher in that particular system. Its extreme form is an oligarchy. As their riches increase, the virtue decreases. It is commonly ruled by hereditary rulership, or by property qualification. Its system is ruled particularly by the rich. The next state, which is ruled by the people, is a republic. A republic is a fusion of oligarchy and democracy. It arises out of the indebtedness of the rich. The poor see the weakness of the rich and revolt. One example of this could be the French Revolution, in which their population revolted, and hence the French helped America fight the War of Independence to declare independence from the British. Its extreme form is a democracy. A democracy is an extreme form of constitutional government, which is republic. In a democracy, pure democracy is equal to anarchy. It is ruled by the people or the demagogue. It gives way to pleasures, good and bad, indifferently. The man living within the democracy does whatever he likes. The one particular bad thing about democracy is an excess in anything often causes a reaction in the opposite direction, as in the case with the seasons, vegetable, animal life, and even all forms of government. Within a democracy, there are three classes. There is the first class, which is the ruling class, which is almost the entire ruling power, is a class of idle spendthrifts, meaning that they don't spend money. They're just rich. They plot against the people, and they are friends of oligarchy. And as we see, democracy and oligarchy are somewhat very similar. The second class within the democracy is the orderly or wealthy class who are fed upon by the citizens, which is the demagogue. Often, in Plato's classification, he calls a demagogue the drones. The third and final class, which makes up most of the entire population, is the working class drones. This is a brief overview of the state and its attributes. In a future session, we will be more focused on the particular attributes and put modern day examples of how this applies to us. Thank you for watching my video.